Have you ever sat back and thought, why do so many people not make it past 81? I mean, really think about it. With all the doctors, pills, checkups, fitness programs, diets, and advanced technology we have today, why is 81 still the silent finish line for most? You might say, well, it's just old age. The body wears out. But what if I told you, that's not exactly true? What if it isn't just about getting old? What if the real reason lies in small, unnoticed daily choices? The kind that seem harmless, until they aren't? Maybe it's the way your dad says he's just tired all the time. Or how your mom's appetite isn't what it used to be, but nobody really brings it up. Or maybe it's you've started forgetting names, skipping meals, or spending entire days without stepping outside. And you brush it off. Because everyone around you says, it's normal. You're just getting older. But here's the truth, that thinking. That's the trap. Because behind that word, normal, hide 5 daily mistakes that most seniors make, often without even knowing. And those mistakes? They're not just habits. They're silent killers. Now, I don't say this to scare you. I say this because I've seen it, too many times. That friend who was full of life at 75, gone before 80. The grandmother who was sharp and smiling one year, confused and frail the next. The uncle who promised he was just resting more lately, and then never got back up. We all know someone like that, don't we? And what hurts the most is, many of those losses didn't have to happen. Because it's not just about aging. It's about how we age. And more importantly, what we ignore while aging. So let me ask you this, if you had the chance to stop time for just a second, and take a closer look at the small, everyday things that could be shortening your life, or the life of someone you love, wouldn't you take it? Because today, I'm giving you that chance. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 most dangerous mistakes seniors make every single day. Not big, obvious ones, but small ones. Subtle ones. Ones that most people don't even realize they're making until it's too late. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what to look for, what to avoid, and how to fix it, before it becomes too late. And if you're someone over 60, or if you care for someone who is, this isn't just information. This is protection. This is preparation. This is a lifeline. So, if you're here today because you want to live not just longer, but healthier, happier, and with full control of your final chapters, then comment below and say, I'm ready. I want to know you're here, and I want to walk this journey with you. And don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe, and tap that bell, so you never miss a lesson from the Elderly Wisdom Guide, where aging with grace and awareness is our mission. Now, let's talk about the first mistake. It starts when you stop listening to your own body. And trust me, it's more dangerous than you think. Mistake number 1, ignoring subtle fatigue. Let me tell you about Mr. Ade. A vibrant man in his late 70s. For years, he was the first one out of the house every morning, walking the length of his street, waving at neighbors, greeting the sun with his slow but steady steps. Then, one day, he didn't go. He told his daughter he was just tired. The next day, same thing. The next week, it became his new normal. The family, of course, didn't think much of it. They said, he's old. He's earned the right to rest. They smiled, patted his shoulder, and assumed it was harmless. But what they didn't see, was the storm quietly building underneath. Because fatigue like that? It's not always about age. In fact, for seniors, unexplained fatigue is one of the body's first cries for help. It could be a sign of something deeper. A slowing heart, low red blood cell count, sleep disturbances, or even early signs of depression. You see, as the body ages, it doesn't always send loud alarms. It whispers. And fatigue? That's often its first whisper. But here's the problem, most people dismiss it. They say, let them sleep more. Maybe they're just bored. Maybe it's the weather. But while they're guessing, the body is struggling. Struggling with blood that's not flowing well. With organs that are slowing down quietly. With oxygen that's not getting to the brain the way it used to. And the longer you ignore it, the worse it gets. Now, this doesn't mean you should panic every time you feel tired. But it does mean you should pay attention. So, what can you do? Start simple. Encourage a routine checkup that includes a full blood panel, check for anemia, thyroid function, and vitamin deficiencies. And don't underestimate the power of gentle movement. Even if it's just 5 minutes of stretching while seated, or light yoga with slow breathing, it helps circulation, boosts mood, and gently wakes up the body. Remember, rest is important, but when fatigue becomes the default, that's not rest. That's a red flag. And here's the real danger, when fatigue becomes a habit, it makes everything else worse. Mobility drops. Appetite fades. The mind dulls. That's why ignoring subtle fatigue can quietly open the door to a faster decline. But that's just the beginning. Because while fatigue weighs down the body, the next mistake, it targets the mind. And it's one that so many families miss, until it's too late. Mistake number 2, underestimating mild forgetfulness. Let's talk about Auntie Bola. She was the heart of every family gathering, always laughing, always full of stories. But lately, she kept misplacing things. First, her keys. Then her glasses. Then the gas was left on, twice. At first, everyone laughed it off. Ah, Auntie Bola again, forgetting where she kept things. They made it a family joke. But behind those chuckles, something deeper was stirring. Because it wasn't just forgetfulness. It was confusion. Hesitation. And moments where her eyes seemed lost. Here's what most people don't realize, mild memory loss isn't always innocent. Sometimes, it's the brain's early cry for help. You see, the brain, just like the body, ages. But forgetfulness isn't always just about aging. Sometimes it's early cognitive decline. Sometimes it's a reaction to medications. Sometimes it's a drop in oxygen flow to the brain, or even the first signs of dementia. But here's the catch, most people think it's nothing. They say, they're just getting old. We all forget things. And yes, forgetting where you put your phone now and then is normal. But when it becomes frequent, when names, dates, or directions start slipping away, when the person starts feeling confused in familiar places, that's not just aging. That's a warning. And the biggest mistake families make? Waiting. Waiting until it gets bad enough to do something. By then, precious time has already been lost. But here's the good news, the brain is like a muscle. And with the right kind of attention, it can stay sharp, far longer than most people think. So, what can you do? Start by making the brain part of the daily routine. Introduce crossword puzzles, memory games, or Sudoku. Better yet, help them learn something new. A new recipe. A painting class. Even learning how to use a tablet or smartphone can be powerful. You see, challenge is brain food. And new experiences, no matter how small, help build new connections in the mind. Because the goal isn't just remembering where the keys are. It's preserving independence. Identity. Dignity. So, the next time someone laughs off just a bit of forgetfulness, pause. Listen. And pay attention to the signs the brain might be sending. Because the earlier you catch it, the more you can do to slow it down. And now, let's shift from the mind to the body. Because mistake number 3 is something most seniors actually think they're doing right. But in reality, it could be pushing their health in the wrong direction. Mistake number 3, eating less, thinking it's healthier. Let's talk about Pa John. He was wise. Respected. The kind of man who always had a proverb for every moment. But in his later years, he started skipping meals. "I don't need much food anymore," he'd say with a shrug. Too much eating is for the young. His family didn't worry. After all, isn't it normal for older people to eat less? But behind that small plate, behind that skipped breakfast, something much more serious was brewing. His clothes started to hang loosely. His skin became papery. He began feeling weak. Dizzy. Cold. What they thought was healthy restraint was actually a slow slide into malnutrition. Here's the truth. Yes, as we age, the metabolism naturally slows down. Yes, the appetite can drop, that's normal. But when a senior's food intake shrinks too much, especially over time, the consequences can be severe. We're talking muscle loss, which increases the risk of falls. We're talking immune suppression, making the body more vulnerable to infections. We're talking vitamin deficiencies that can affect everything from memory to heart rhythm. And in some cases, rapid, unexplained weight loss can be an early sign of cancer. But here's the dangerous misconception: people believe eating less equals living longer. That skipping meals keeps the body light and clean. But the aging body is not a younger body on pause. It's a body that needs quality, not just quantity. The nutrients we put in, they aren't just fuel. They're medicine. They're defense. They're repair agents that fight inflammation, protect the brain, and keep the organs running smoothly. So how do we fix this? Start by making every bite count. Not heavy meals. Not force feeding. Just simple, nutrient-dense foods that are easy to chew, easy to digest, and full of vitality. Like a warm bowl of oats with berries and flaxseed. Or soft-boiled eggs mashed into avocado toast. Or creamy blended veggie soups, carrots, pumpkin, a touch of ginger, olive oil. Add small portions of protein, colorful fruits, and healthy fats. Even smoothies with yogurt, banana, and nuts can work wonders. Because the goal isn't to eat more. It's to eat smarter. To nourish the body, not starve it gently in the name of discipline. And remember, when a senior says, "I'm just not hungry," listen. But don't stop there. Explore why. Sometimes it's dental pain. Sometimes it's depression. Sometimes, it's the body's quiet cry for help. But what happens when the stomach is full? And the heart still feels empty? Because the next mistake? It's not about food. It's about the silent hunger that no meal can fix. Mistake number 4, withdrawing from social life. Let me tell you about Mama Grace. She was the soul of her church group, always the first to arrive, always humming a hymn as she arranged the chairs. But after her husband passed, something in her shifted. She stopped attending services. Stopped answering phone calls. Stopped smiling with her eyes. When people asked how she was, she'd say, "I'm fine. I just like the peace now." But it wasn't peace. It was isolation. It was the slow, invisible pull of loneliness. And here's what many don't understand: lonely hearts fail faster. We often underestimate how deeply human connection is tied to health. But science is clear: prolonged isolation increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, and even early death, by as much as 30%. That's not just sadness. That's a health emergency. The misconception is dangerous. People think seniors choose to be alone. They say things like, "They just want their quiet time," or "She prefers to be left alone now." But silence can be a disguise. A mask worn by those who no longer feel needed, who don't want to burden anyone with their pain. And here's the heartbreaking truth: you can feed the body well. Keep the blood pressure in check. Get them all the right medications. But if the heart is empty, if laughter is rare, if touch and conversation are missing, health unravels. Humans were made for connection. To be seen. To be heard. To be remembered. So how do we bring life back into their days? It doesn't take grand gestures. Maybe it's a weekly video call from the grandchildren. Maybe it's inviting them to help cook, even if it's just peeling potatoes. Maybe it's encouraging them to attend a community center program, arts and crafts, storytelling, or just tea with friends. Even chatting with neighbors, sitting on a bench, or walking to a nearby shop can light up the spirit. Remember, engagement doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be consistent. Because a heart that feels connected is a heart that keeps beating strong. And while social life deeply affects the heart, this next mistake, it strikes in silence, yet affects every single organ in the body, especially the brain. Most people ignore it. Some even brag about it. But in the long run, it may be the most dangerous mistake of them all. Mistake number 5, sitting for hours without movement. Let me tell you about Uncle Dan. A kind man. Sharp with numbers, and always had a joke ready. He loved his television shows, never missed an episode of Village Drama, or evening news at 9. He'd sit right after breakfast, and wouldn't get up again until sunset. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal. He said he felt fine, "I've earned my rest," he'd smile. But the body doesn't see it that way. Months later, the signs started creeping in. Swollen feet. Stiff joints. Shortness of breath from just walking to the kitchen. Then came the hospital visit, blood clots, sky-high blood pressure, and early signs of deep vein thrombosis. You see, sedentary living is like rust for the human body. When you stop moving, blood flow slows down. Your muscles shorten and weaken. The arteries begin to harden and clog. Your balance suffers. Your reaction time drops. And just like that, a small stumble becomes a dangerous fall. But here's the biggest misconception of all: we think seniors need to just rest. We say, they've worked hard all their lives, let them relax. And while rest is important, too much of it is toxic. Because the body wasn't designed to stay still for hours at a time, especially in old age. So, what's the solution? Not a gym. Not a treadmill. Not some intense fitness routine. Just small, consistent movements, sprinkled throughout the day. Try the 30-30 rule. Every 30 minutes, move your body for 30 seconds. Stand up. Stretch. Walk across the room. Roll your shoulders. Tap your toes. During TV time, stand up during the commercials. March in place while the kettle boils. Even simple leg lifts while seated can work wonders. And here's a beautiful trick: use music. Play their favorite oldies and let the rhythm move them. A gentle sway. A little foot tap. A seated dance. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Motion keeps the joints alive. Circulation flowing. Energy lifted. And the spirit light. So now, we've walked through the 5 silent, daily habits that slowly rob years from a person's life. But information alone isn't enough. Because behind these habits, behind the science, there's something heavier. The emotional weight. The quiet sorrow families feel when a loved one starts fading. The guilt. The questions. The helplessness. Let's talk about that. Because knowledge can heal more than the body, it can lighten the heart. It's hard. Watching someone you love slowly change. Maybe it's your mother, who used to sing in the kitchen but now sits in silence. Maybe it's your father, once full of energy, now sleeping more than he's awake. Or maybe it's you, feeling tired more often, forgetting small things, letting the days slip by. And the hardest part? It all feels so normal. So easy to brush off. Because no one tells you when a small shift is the beginning of something serious. No one warns you that what looks like rest might actually be withdrawal. That eating less could mean the body's beginning to fail. That silence might be a cry for help. But let me be clear, this video isn't about fear. It's not about scaring you. It's about something far more powerful, awareness. Because when you recognize these signs early, you get the chance to change the story. You get to step in before it's too late. You get to be the reason someone sees another birthday, with joy, with strength, with dignity. And that's not just a responsibility, it's a gift. A second chance. So please, don't wait. Don't wait until someone you love is lying in a hospital bed, and you're left wondering, was there something I missed? Could I have done more? You can do something now. Call your parents. Check in on your aunt who lives alone. Visit that elderly neighbor down the street who hasn't been seen in days. Start the conversation. Ask how they've really been feeling. Yes, it might feel awkward. But awkwardness is a small price to pay if it could save a life. These conversations. These small acts. They're not just gestures. They are lifelines. Because aging doesn't have to mean fading away. It doesn't have to mean decline, despair, or loneliness. With the right love, the right knowledge, and the right attention, these years can be filled with meaning. They can be golden, not grim. They can be beautiful. You just need to look a little closer, listen a little deeper, and love a little louder. Because the truth is, you have more power than you think. And sometimes, the smallest action makes the biggest difference. Let's take a moment to breathe and look back. Just 5 things. That's all we talked about today, just 5 everyday habits. But they carry a heavy weight. 1. Ignoring fatigue. That slow, creeping tiredness that often gets dismissed as normal aging might actually be your body whispering for help. 2. Brushing off memory lapses. Losing your keys isn't just about forgetfulness. It could be the first crack in the foundation of cognitive health. 3. Undereating. When the plate gets emptier and the body gets weaker, it's not about discipline, it's about missing nourishment your body desperately needs. 4. Withdrawing from social life. The quiet can feel peaceful, but it can also be dangerous. The heart needs connection just like the body needs food. And 5. Sitting too long. Stillness might seem restful, but too much of it slowly shuts the body down, organ by organ. These may seem small when you look at them one by one. But together, they stack up. And they chip away at health, spirit, and time. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these mistakes have you seen? In your daily life? In a parent? A partner? A friend? Maybe you've even caught one in yourself. Type it in the comments. Let's share. Let's connect. Let's learn from each other. Because when we talk, we heal. When we listen, we grow. And if this message touched something in you, if you're nodding your head or wiping a tear, take a second and click like. Not just for this video, but for the truth it carries. And if you want more guidance, more stories, more practical, loving wisdom on how to grow older with purpose and grace, subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. This is more than a channel. It's a community. It's a hand to hold through one of the most delicate stages of life. You don't have to figure it out alone. We're in this together. So, thank you. Truly. For sitting with me. For thinking deeply. For caring enough to stay to the end. You have something powerful now, awareness. Use it. Share it. Be the one who notices. The one who acts early. The one who makes a difference. Because every day you wake up is another chance to live wiser. To grow stronger. To love deeper. And to stay longer. Until next time, stay blessed. Stay aware. And above all, stay connected.